I don't know about you, but I'm absolutely fed up being a Man United fan right now because it's just a constant merry-go-round of different managers after what you'd hope would be a change, because Ineos brought in their own man in Ruben Amorim. Apparently they've had all these professionals brought in, these people who know football, know how to run a football club. They've gone through all the details and thought, yeah, this is a guy, we're going to believe in his style of play, which was working brilliantly at Sporting Lisbon. We'll give him the time, we'll give him the players, and then we'll judge him after that. So Jim Ratcliffe has been saying that. He's been saying 3 years. He's been saying that Arteta went through a tough time at Arsenal. Now look at him at the moment. The top of the league, and they've been, a great team for a good few years now because they stuck with him through the tough times. Here, Amrim has challenged the board, and he said, "Back me or sack me," and they said, "Well, we're going to sack you." This whole thing here that they've reluctantly made the decision that it's the right time to make a change, sitting 6th in the Premier League. In a Premier League which is very congested because you can go up and down the league very rapidly depending on a few results because it is so close. But being only 3 points away from the goal, which was top 4, you think, why are you sacking him? Well, they sacked him because he's challenged the whole his role basically. They even say here, it's, as head coach, he was saying he wants to be manager. He wants more control, and they weren't going to have that. But the thing is, do you really sack him? Like if you're really behind this man, you don't sack him. You have a conversation, you work it out. You don't sack him because it now makes you look like hypocrites. And many people are looking like hypocrites right now. Not just the board, people like Gary Neville. He came out to say that United should stop doing the experiments and just go back to the Manchester United DNA, which is just very tiring to hear all the time because he's someone who had said in the past that they should go for a 3 at the back and try something different with wing backs. And has also praised the performances of Amrim recently, even in the defeats and the draws. I went to the Wolves game, and that was not a fun game to watch. But I could clearly see that this was a team where we only had basically like 12 players fit. The rest were just a bunch of kids. The kids aren't ready. The kids who came on didn't look ready. Lacey the other night against Burnley, again, he had some 2 great shots, and people were getting a bit too over the top with him. They were very good efforts, but I didn't really see enough from him in those 7 minutes to really say, yeah, he should be starting next game. So I need to see more of his just general gameplay really first. And then when it comes to, the rest of the team on that night against Wolves, for example, like Xerxes deserved to come off at half time. He was just walking around. He was pretty poor. He got the goal, but, deflected goal. Xerxes looked like someone who's shot of confidence, but hopefully those 2 goals against Burnley will help him. But it's very difficult trying to judge a manager during a period where he can only really pick one team. And that team didn't do enough, and they haven't done enough to beat teams they should be beating. That's for sure. And right now, at this point, I'm just like, I don't know where we go, because Carrick or Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I'm not really inspired by either of them, but it just feels like this season, the excuse is there now. Like, we can fail because we've sacked the manager again midway through the season. Who should we get at the end? There's lots of names out there. There's actually lots of different names. No one's like in the past when Mourinho was available after Van Gaal. Obviously they sacked him on the day he won the FA Cup to bring Mourinho in, which was really awful. Like, that was lacking so much class, which is not to be surprised when you have someone like Ed Woodward at the time being in control. But now there isn't someone who's right at the front of the pack. You can say Glasner, and then go if you want to go for that same style, but then apparently they had an issue with the formation not being changed, and he was stubborn with the formation, though he was changing it a bit here and there. But at the same time, the formation was never a key thing. We're just seeing with Burnley, there was some performances were better. I don't think getting the striker more involved was something where it's difficult to really judge after one game, because Sesko had a lot of chances, but is that because of we're playing Burnley, or is that because of the formation? But also the formation has a positive in that effect, but also Casemiro is now exposed because he's got one less defender behind him to help cover his flaws. So formation is formation. I think if you take one player away from here, then you obviously gain something over there. The thing is, if you play a fullback for the foreseeable, it means that that relationship between Ahmad and Mbeumo will be lost, which is a shame because they really did build a great rapport down that right-hand side. And now you can't play a system with a back four where you have these players all in the same team with Cunha, Mbeumo, Ahmad, and Sesko. But of course, you can now get an extra midfielder in there. So Mainu's happy, but Mainu, how he's gone about himself this season hasn't been impressive because in the summer he wanted to leave at the end of the window because he wants to get into the England squad for World Cup. So his ahead is England first, Man United second. And I think Amorim and him clashed over that because I assume Amorim would have told him, if you work hard enough, you buckle down, you'll get your chance. But he was already thinking, well, no, I need assurances that I'll play so I can get in that team. So it's so focused on that. And I think that's where the conflict probably started. And then, obviously, his family have come out, did the whole free Mainu stuff. Really childish. And we saw Garnacho have a similar thing there with his brother. And also, liking stuff on social media. I'm not going to mention the injury because other players came back at the same time for Fletcher's first game, so you can't say he faked an injury or anything. But it's just something where it's like, what are you doing, man? Like you got the ability, don't ruin it. And the thing is, if you don't get in the World Cup squad, you're still young. Like I feel like there's that sort of like, well, I got into Euro squad, so I have to definitely get into World Cup squad. Well, I don't know. I think with this sort of player, and also with his family doing that, like he's okayed that. Like if he didn't, he should have come out and said something against it, and he didn't do that either. So I'm not happy with him. I want a player who's putting our club first before country. That's always the way I want to see it, because that is your bread and butter, mate. And the thing is, at Carrington and the youth setup, this environment has been something which is bubbling along for years. It's been an issue with this sort of, these egos which are created. Players who think it's their given right that they can do all these different things. Amorim touched on it as well about the youth players. So I'm going to listen. I mean, Amorim was very, very truthful in everything he said when it comes to press conferences. He was very honest. And I don't see why he would lie about that. So Maino is someone I will be watching closely. But in terms of the rest of the club and just the overall environment of Manchester United, I mean, one of the biggest fan channels is the United Stand with Goldbridge. I have watched his channel. I do see his opinions because it is the biggest fan channel. I do see the super chats and how people go against him. A lot of times, like his community does actually challenge him on what he says, especially in the Villa game when we lost, but we played well. One of the things he was saying was like, if you see anything other than a negative in a loss, then your standards have lowered. Like he goes on about that a lot, and that's complete crap because he contradicts himself a lot. So I think obviously that's one fan channel. You have other ones out there as well. You have Stephen Howson, you have the Paddock lads there. You have Webby and O'Neill channel. Andy Mitten. There's lots of other channels, of course, as well, but just naming a few that come up a lot on YouTube. And there are some good opinions said, but there's also, I think, when you have such a divide between the fan base as well, it does cause an issue. Right now, we have on screen, you can see the protest is being planned as well from the 1958 group as well. So. Because they said that we're a laughingstock, which I do agree with. I mean, they say they're not against Amorim being sacked. It's not about that. I think where does it say that? Yes, it's not a defence of Ruben or the football served up under him. Much of it was unacceptable. I would say yes, but at the same time, I'd also say I was happy to watch us go through the troubles because I understood that they brought in someone who's supposed to be, as Ralph Rangnick said, we need surgery. This is our we got the surgeon. We're halfway through surgery. There's going to be some blood splattering around. That's what I was happy to accept that. But we've now just sacked the surgeon halfway through surgery, and now we're bleeding out. That's literally what's happening right now. And we're hoping that we're going to get the DNA of United, an ex-player to help us recover until the end of the season. Then we'll get a new surgeon in, which will be the right one this time, to finish the job. And it just feels like I could see the positives. I could see in the performances, even the ones we lost, that there was something building there. If we could, we did the front three in the summer. Goalkeeper, good upgrade on him. I mean, at that Wolves game, I was right behind the goal where Lemons did the double save. That was superb. I was like, wow, Onana would have thrown that in his own net. So that was a big upgrade already. The defence needs a few here and there, like the wing backs and probably a couple of centre backs, because I don't know what's going on with Maguire. I mean, he's out of contract in some anyway, but he's an injury-prone player now. Losing De Ligt was huge. He was such a big player. I hope he's not also in that same category. But they, need another. They still need that anyway. They need another centre back. But midfield was the one everyone knew we needed a midfield rebuild. Casemiro's out of contract. Casemiro's been a decent squad player. He'll do a job, but he's not a starter in a team who want to push up to the top positions and win the big trophies now. Agarte's someone who needs to play. Like, I think in recent games he's looked better because he does play. And he was actually, last season there were some performances where I was like, he's actually our best player. So he's someone who just needs to continually play, but he's not quite good enough, I don't think, to be a starter again. He's okay as a squad player, but that's one of the issues. He can't really be a squad player unless he's playing all the time. But then you need the games, you need the cup games, Europe games, where he can still play and he may come off the bench and build it into the team. But there's not enough games for him to do that. Mainu, we've spoken about Mainu and obviously Bruno. I think Bruno can work in the midfield too if you have a Caicedo or a Rodri next year. Someone who can, like an N'Golo Kante, someone who could be around the pitch and cover his flaws, that could possibly work. But otherwise, it's difficult with Bruno. He's more a player which will suit this formation of the 4-2-3-1 better because he's in that number 10 position. So that is one of the benefits you get. And we saw that against Burnley, that pass to Sesko, and him being closer to Sesko will definitely help him out. So yes, I wasn't for Ruben being sacked. I was happy to go through the process because I could see the signs that if we actually push through with this manager and we got him those players in those key positions where we're lacking, then I think even in that first game of the season against Arsenal, we were great in that, and we've shown we score some. We're one of the highest goal scorers in the whole league. The defense needs sorting out, of course, but with the midfield and the defense in terms of wing backs, what the players we need would have helped sort that out. So yeah, it's a shame because I really liked Amorim, and now I have no trust in the board because that was their manager, that was their man. I was like, okay, fine, go say all these things, say you've got the plan, do it. I will believe you. Now anything they say, I don't believe. And also now it adds on to the fact they sacked Ashworth after paying him out. They've done this now. They've done all the ticket price rises as well, which is awful. Terrible system as well, being a United member, going to buy tickets. It's bloody crap. It was great being there against Wolves, like I haven't been for a little bit. But the whole process is just terrible. The fact that I could only get the Wolves tickets at the start of the season, really, because they were in the Category C. Like, if you want to get to any of the bigger games now, which I used to go to quite a lot, then you got to pay over £100 probably. Like, unless you wait till the last minute, it's just a joke. And it's one of those where I was really starting to lose a bit of interest. I was really starting to like, what's the point? Why should I invest my time and energy into a project if you're just gonna scrap it because you can't get over a simple hurdle, right? Which happens, conflict happens. So anyway, I just had to waffle on here. What are your thoughts? So, what manager do you think United should get next? Do you think the board? Do you trust the board? Can you trust them? I mean, will you Amorim in or Amorim out? Are you happy he's gone? There's so many different things now. I probably will do a more specific video about something as we get more news coming up. As at time of recording, next game is the FA Cup. I mean, that's the only cup we can win. So hopefully against Brighton, which are always a tough team to play, we can show up and put a result in. Because it's going to really suck if we go out of that in the first, in our first round, like we did with Grimsby. So yes, we'll see. And then we got City at home and Arsenal away. Which, no, Man United will probably win those two games. Like, we can't beat Wolves, Burnley, or Leeds, but we'll go and beat the top two in the league. This club. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want more videos. I will do more videos on this channel soon, but I'm mainly doing videos on my main channel, which is all about movie reviews. So if you're interested in that, do check that out. And also gaming. I have some gaming on my other channel. It's all linked below if you want to check any of that out. But until next time, take care. Bye-bye now.